First on CBS News, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders is calling on Democrats to ban super PACs from participating in primary races. He spoke about his push with Margaret Brennan on Face the Nation yesterday. Sanders told her wealthy outsiders have too much influence on the Democratic nominee.
Until we get rid of Citizens United and get rid of super PACs and move to public funding of elections, that is the reality. You can't allow Democratic candidates to be outspent 50-1. But it is a corrupt campaign finance system, and Democrats can take charge of what takes place within their own primaries right now. General election can't, but within primaries, Democrats can get super PACs out. That's what they should do.
Now, funding from the pro-Israel group AIPAC, that's the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, was a key issue in the Michigan Senate primary. Sanders noted the PAC donated $30 million to Abdul al-Sayed's opponent, Haley Stevens. It's now turning its support to Republican Mike Rogers. All right, to discuss all of this, let's bring in Kristian Ramos and Harrison Fields. Kristian is the former communications director of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. He's also the founder of Autonomy Strategies. And Harrison formerly served as President Trump's White House Principal Deputy Press Secretary. He's also a CBS News political contributor. A good summer Monday morning to you both, gentlemen. Welcome. Kristian, I want to start with you on Sanders and wanting to ban super PACs. He says there's a struggle in the wings of the party. Actually, no. He wants Democrats to get rid of super PACs. Will it be done?
Will it be done? Listen, it's not just up to Democrats right now. This is a two-party system. We've got to get it out of both sides of the parties. I think the issue here really is nobody thinks that it's a good thing that there's so much money in politics. And I want to give you an example of this. Look at somebody like Elon Musk, right? He spends $250 million on the 2024 presidential primary. He gets out of that that election, and then he comes back in, and he's given Doge, and he's allowed to do whatever he wants with our government. Why? Because the president feels beholden to him. That is the kind of money that's going to be swimming in these next political elections in November. That's a huge problem. So unless we get the Republicans to get the money out of the politics, I think this is a huge issue going forward.
And Harrison, Senator Sanders says these PACs are really just trying to push their own initiatives, no matter which party is in power. We saw that with the AIPAC example in Michigan. Is a super PAC ban, you think, something Republicans can get behind?
Well, you just said it. AIPAC is the issue. This is not about money in politics. For Bernie Sanders, maybe that's been one of his calling cards for a long time. But right now, especially after this Michigan Senate race, the real issue in the Democratic Party is that it's Jewish money that is running in their party. And they don't like it. That's exactly what they want out. But for the party bosses here in Washington, D.C. and across the nation, they're looking at a DNC and a Democratic Party that is hemorrhaging cash. They have a net position of negative $2.2 million. That is negative $2.2 million heading into a midterm and then 2028 election. They are not going to be looking at ways of how to get money out of politics right now. They are going to be looking under the seat cushions to make sure that they have money to go up against candidates like Mike Rogers, who likely will win that seat in Michigan because they're up against a radical Democratic socialist in El Sayed.
All right, I want to switch our focus to tomorrow's primary, specifically in Wisconsin. We've got the primary for governor. The Democratic frontrunner is Francesca Hong. New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez spoke about her chances. Let's listen.
When I see so many of these incredible insurgent candidates that are running today, that's part of what makes me so proud of them, is that they do not answer to any master. They are not beholden to any corporate interest or any party boss. And they are completely independent, which allows them to be responsive to their communities and the people that elected them. And I think that in many ways that makes our movement stronger when you have to rely on your own organizing skills.
Let's, Kristian, speak about the progressive movement in the Democratic Party. Is it winning, or are moderate Democrats persevering?
Look, I think right now we're having an argument. We're having a fight within the party, and I think it's healthy and it's long overdue. And I think the fight And what voters are really looking for from our candidates right now are people that want to take on the status quo. And what is the status quo? The status quo is high gas prices, forever wars, cost of living increases that are going out of control, a job market that is bottoming out. We've got 250,000 people who left the job market in July. And voters want Democrats to fight against all of those things. I think that's healthy. I think whoever comes out of these primaries coming up is going to have a great opportunity. Why? Because the Republican Party, bottom line, is falling out. They are dealing with the most corrupt president in the history of the world, the most unpopular president in the history of the world, and a Republican Party that has done nothing to rein in those voters. So it's not a right or a left issue within the Democratic Party. It's are you going to fight against the status quo, which is a corrupt Washington, D.C. led by Donald Trump and being enabled by the Republican lackeys in Congress?
Harrison, I want to ask you about what's happening in South Carolina because we have a special election there to replace the late Senator Lindsey Graham. His sister Darlene now in the running to take his place. The president has endorsed her, but really hasn't done much to amplify her. It is a crowded race. What are your expectations there?
Well, we just put Senator Graham, we just laid him to rest last week. So the race really is just now getting started. And for Senator Darlene, we also need to give her time to mourn. But she's going to be back on the saddle and make sure that she gets this win. It's a healthy primary. This is what we always want in our party. But I feel very confident that she's going to win. Listen, the last time South Carolina elected a Democrat, I was 3 years old. So it's a very Republican state. And if I can just close out on the Wisconsin piece, you've got a woman who's running who wanted to get rid of Thanksgiving. You heard it right. She wanted to get rid of Thanksgiving. She also wants to get rid of police and also wants to defund ICE up against a guy named Tom Tiffany, who is going to be there for Wisconsin farmers and be an advocate for people in Wisconsin. So there couldn't be more of a stark contrast there in Wisconsin. The Democrats are truly in disarray. They don't know who their party leaders are going to be. Someone who wants to get rid of Thanksgiving or be there for working class Americans. They have a lot of questions that are unanswered in their party. And going into a midterm election, I'd rather be a unified GOP than a Democrat disarray.
Well, Kristian Ramos and Harrison Fields, we know you don't agree politically, but thanks for helping our viewers make these decisions as the midterms approach. Thank you so much for being with us this Monday.